So last year, the World Health Organization declared that poor diets are the world's #1 health risk. And there is a lot of scientific evidence that says to combat both poor diets in developing countries where people may not have enough nutrients, but also poor diets in the richer countries where obesity is a problem, you need to have a diverse diet. And that means eating fruits, vegetables, nuts, etc., and healthy grains. And as a world, we are underproducing those foods. And so agricultural biodiversity, so different varieties of tomatoes, different varieties of peppers, different varieties of fruits, can help increase the consumption of these healthier foods. I think, it's very exciting to identify some concrete areas where we can work with FAO and work with the UN. We're very engaged here with the Committee on Food Security, the Standing Committee on Nutrition. So we're glad to formalize some ways to work with FAO. We primarily work on agricultural biodiversity, and I think there are a lot of areas that Graziano and I discussed where we can work quite closely with FAO, in particular in the areas of agroecology and how we can use agricultural biodiversity to promote more agricultural, ecological production practices. And we also discussed how we can work together in terms of supporting and raising the profile of agricultural biodiversity, which I know now is a new interest here at FAO. For example, we have been doing research for several years in a number of countries, looking at using multiple varieties of rice or potatoes or beans in farmers' fields, and that is able actually to reduce pest and disease damage by 50 to 60% with no use of chemicals. And what we were doing is relying some extent on farmers' varieties, so mixing them sometimes with the improved varieties, but it allows you to decrease the amount of pesticides and chemicals you're using. So another area that we work on that I think is of interest is on climate adaptation and helping farmers to find new varieties, new crops that can help them address climate change. And then the final area is Bioversity has been working in 4 countries, one of them being Brazil, and Sri Lanka and Kenya, Turkey, on a project called Biodiversity for Food and Nutrition, where we have been identifying more nutritious but forgotten crops that can be integrated into the school feeding programs. And we've been particularly successful in Brazil, so that was one of the topics to see maybe we can expand that program to other countries.